Hi, so I'm going to show you how I make a January memory page in my journal. I hope you'll make one for yourself as well. So first thing I'm going to do is write out January in pencil. Originally I was going to trace around the cursive to make text I could fill in, but I switched it up and ended up doing it in this black brush pen instead. So that's what we have here. But I will draw out the numbers 2025 beneath with a different pen. So I'm using this lovely brush pen for the January, and then I'll use this micron pen to write 2025, and then I can color the 2025 in separately. And because I did January in just the solid black brush pen, then I also decided to outline the whole thing with my trusty micron. And now that gives me another thing to color in. When I'm doing pages like this, I like to give myself lots of spots to color, kind of differentiate areas. And once the ink is good and dry, I erase any pencil lines I may have made, and then I get to painting. So I start with a base color across the back. I'll try to fill in, like I said, fill in areas. I like to go right to the edge of the page in my sketchbooks. I don't leave borders or anything like that generally. I just like the way that looks, and so I'm doing yellow at the top because I thought, well, this January has been really nice and sunny and lovely, really. I mean, it's been cool, but it's been cold, but it has been sunny and beautiful. So we haven't had as much rain as usual. And then I added blue at the bottom because, like I say, it has been cold, so we'll keep that blue in there. You can use whatever colors you like. I just like to add a bit of a base to begin with, so that at least once there's something on there, then it's not as much pressure to fill everything because it's already got stuff all over it. The page is almost completely full and I haven't even started barely. So now I'm thinking about what I was up to in January. One of the things I'm starting to block in with some watercolor paint is a tree. I'm going to do a couple of trees because we have been doing a lot of tree related stuff this month. We have a property that we had some trees taken down on, and we've been cutting the trees up and dealing with all of that. So definitely got to represent that. I spent a lot of my time there, which is lovely. And yeah, so besides spending time at our property and dealing with all the trees, one of the things that we did early on in January was take our daughter back to university. So I'll add a bit of a gray block in here to represent her dorm building. And I'll just kind of add that in. So you'll notice that I'm not drawing things to begin with. I'm just kind of thinking about what we were doing in January and putting in color blocks. And then same thing here. We bought a little one-room cabin in January that we're going to be moving on to our property. And so I'm just kind of blocking in that. At the top of the page, I'm going to add another kind of tree because the beginning of January, how could I forget? We had our family Christmas dinner. So I'll add Christmas tree, make sure to put a table so that I have something to add Jenga to, because we played a family tournament of Jenga and we awarded our little Christmas cup and we all played in rounds. It was great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. There were 18 of us all crammed into our house. It was a lot of fun. So I'll make sure to paint in a little Jenga game here. And that just kind of looks like a rectangle or a blob now. But at the end, once all the paint is dry, like I say, we'll put all the details in. So, put some gold for the star. And through the magic of video, now you see it all filled in. The gold from the star inspired me to fill the January part all full of gold too. And then to make some more contrast between, you can't really see the shimmer of the gold for the center, I suppose, but from my angle it looks great. And then with the dark in the background, it really pops too. That contrast part of what really makes things look good is having the contrast between dark and light, or colors that are very opposite from each other on the color wheel. Having something that is really vibrant next to something that's muted, all of that helps. So having that little bit of dark blue between the brown of the wood at the bottom and the gold of 2025, that helps to kind of differentiate those. And now here I am starting to put in the details with my micron pen. So the cabin, I'm adding in the door and windows, and I'll add in the details of that. And then we'll jump over here and add a little fire, because part of cutting trees down and dealing with the bushes is burning all the branches and stuff. So a couple of times we've done that, and we had a fire with our kids and some of our family, and so hopefully there'll be more fires to come in the future too. That's a really nice thing we get to have as part of all this firewood now. So we just put circles on circles, and the logs are just basically a couple of lines, trees, and just do a line down for the trunk, and then just simple. Like, I'm not really drawing a tree, I'm just adding a couple of little lines, just scratch. You're just representing things here. You don't have to worry about full-on drawing anything. You don't have to worry if you're not an artist. It's just about representing things, an impression of something, right? Just something so it's obvious that there were trees. You're not doing a masterpiece. It's a journal entry, right? Ornaments are easy to just kind of draw some circles. I don't even do all of them. When I'm doing something like this, you'll notice I didn't circle every ornament. I didn't draw every branch on the tree. The Jenga, if it was bigger, if I had maybe a finer pen, I might put a little bit more effort into drawing some open gaps. And you can look pictures up if you want. You can Google things. You could also just write words. I'm going to add words to this after I've done my drawings, but you can just use words or collage or trace or whatever. And so from here we'll draw the building, which is basically just a rectangle. Do an angled wall to show that it's not just a two-dimensional shape, and then a bunch of little rectangles within to represent windows. Basically, we just want to show that it's a building. Again, it's not going to be accurate to what her building looks like, but just a representation. If you feel more comfortable, you can use rulers. You can also trace things. you can draw things out in pencil and then draw it with your micron pen and then erase the pencil lines afterwards, like I showed you with the writing at the beginning. But you don't have to be too worried about impressing anyone. This is just for you. I'll add some fluorescent yellow to that fire. And some fluorescent orange too. Like I said, I like some fluorescent. And now we're at the part where you write all the details in. So I wrote notes about what each of my little paintings and sketches represent. And there might have been a lot more detail I could have added. Sometimes I'll do these pages on larger sheets of paper and fit all kinds of details in. I didn't even note the weather or anything. You can add whatever you like. This is just to give you an idea of what you could do. And I hope you will. To make it even easier for you, I'm showing you the technique that I discussed earlier in the video where I traced the cursive instead of going over it with the brush pen that I used in my little sketchbook. So you can use this technique as well, but I'm also going to scan this kind of template for January and you can download this. You can just use this one if you want. And then you can draw or sketch or collage things to add onto it. You can fill it with words if that's more your style. You can trace things. There's no shame in that. This is just a memento for you, right? It's just somewhere for you to record your own memories. And I hope that you do. I hope that this inspires you. And come back for February. And if you still want to make an art journal memory page, but you don't feel quite as comfortable drawing everything out or doing the hand lettering yourself, I decided to make you a printable January journal page as a starting point. So I'm showing you a little snippet of the process here. I've drawn it all out. It's available for you to print. If you print it on cardstock, or even if you want to get fancy, you can print it on watercolor paper, but print it on cardstock and you can draw and paint and glue and do all kinds of stuff all over it and use it for your own personal projects and start to journal of your memories of the year. We'll do them month by month. Let me know if you had fun with this and we can do it again for February.